Hi everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today with another layout for the Unscrapped Bundle of Joy series that I am participating in with Melissa Vining from Melissa Vining Creates. And I am, of course, scrapping a photo of my little Violet. I actually started this layout before I had the photo printed, so that's why I don't have the photo out yet. But I wanted to do kind of like a patchwork quilt layout. So I have taken this paper. This layout was heavily inspired by this paper in particular. So I've cut it into strips. I'm going to distress the edges and then I will cut them into individual squares in a minute off camera. You can see them all at the top there. I've taken this purple pattern paper. It's a very subtle pattern, but it kind of reminded me a little bit of, it's kind of like a check print. So it kind of reminded me a little bit of a sheet that I have, or that I had for the babies. So I thought that would fit. This one I'm putting on top is just a white cardstock. So as you can see, I sort of rolled the edge and I folded it over a little bit. I want this to look, like I said, like a patchwork quilt. So I placed that at an angle and trimmed off the excess. And now I'm just going to lay out all my patchwork squares kind of roughly where I want them before I glue them down. It was really quite difficult to get these straight because I did not put my paper straight on the page. In hindsight, I've made this a lot more difficult for myself than it needed to be, but I just kind of figured it out as I went along. So I backed every one of those squares with some single-sided adhesive foam. I'm not going to make you watch all that. We'll skip to in a minute. One more, I think. And then I've gone in and pierced holes for hand stitching. So I've just done some vertical and horizontal lines in between all those squares. And I'm going to come in with a simple back stitch. It is a simple stitch, but there's a lot of it, so it did take me a long time. I'm using kind of a dusty purple colored thread. I will just zoom in here very quickly for those of you who have not ever done any kind of hand stitching or embroidery. It's a very, very simple stitch. You just go up one hole ahead of where you are. So in that one and back through to where you started next to that first stitch. And this is in real time, this part. And then you want to come up the next hole. So it's sort of, there you go. And then back in through that first hole. Just like that. So you sort of skip every second hole from the back side and then stitch backwards. Just like that. And that is all finished. Took me a long time. And that's my photo. So this is a photo of my little darling girl. She was only 2 days old in this photo. She is snuggled up, still in hospital, snuggled up on her dad's chest, one of her absolute favorite places to sleep when she was a newborn. And I'm just going to start layering up my photo with some paper layers. So I brought in some of this soft blue. There's a lot of pink already going on. There's a lot of pink in the kit I'm using, which is just my my baby album kit that I made myself. So I don't want it to be completely pink. I'm trying to make sure I bring in some purple and some blue as well so that it's not overwhelmingly pink. This is just a journal card I have added. It was just, again, a soft pink. So I've trimmed that down, and then some of this heart paper, which is very sweet. I found this little doily. I actually went looking for a doily because I thought it would, like if there's any layout to use a doily on, it's this one. It kind of reminded me, I don't know, a little bit of lace. I'm doing like a textiles themed layout, so kind of made sense. This is just some sparkly embroidery thread from Daiso. I'm just using that to thread some loops around my little tassels. That I think I got these from Kmart in a big pack. I've chucked a few in when I made my kit, and I thought this would be a good layout to use them. Again, just going with that kind of fabric theme. They're cotton, fluffy little tassels, so yeah, they just felt right, and I think they look really pretty hanging out from underneath the photo. So I've just added them, I sort of glued them down between the squares on the patchwork quilt, so they don't add any extra dimension really. They just sort of hang down there nicely. glued my photo down because it's not going anywhere, and there's no, I left a gap under there. There's no hand stitching, so kind of needs to go there. Now I'm just adding in my title. Those stickers are, I'm not sure what collection they're from, to be honest, but they're like a gold foiled, very baby themed sticker set, and I've spelled out Snuggle time. I have embellished a little bit. My camera stopped filming, unfortunately. I just used those little shoe stickers and that tag. Those are from the Echo Park Hello Baby collection, the girl version. I'm going to tuck in this little blue section. It's just a little bit of a tag that my friend sort of handed to me. We're all at my house doing a little crop day, so she just handed that to me when I said I needed something blue, and it just fit in there really nicely. So I've just popped that in behind the tag. I cut that flower in half. That's a really, really old Prima flower that I've had over 10 years. And just popping everything down now with a bit of glue. And this is a little glossy, it kind of looks like a flare button, but it's cardstock and like foam dimension. It's from Rosie Studio. I think it's a Glasshouse collection. Adding a little bit of twine into the top of my tag. It's that same Daiso sparkly thread. I take way too long trying to make the perfect bow out of this. And just trim off the ends. And now I'm going to come in with my journaling. I'm just going to go around the outside of the sheet, I guess, the plain background paper with my white Uniball Signo gel in white. I already said white. The Uniball Signo Broad gel pen in white. There we go. I just said how she was such an angel when she's sleeping, and she loves to sleep on her dad. Now, the last thing I'm going to add is these sequins. So I add some quite small gold ones from one of my own mixes that I made, and then I will come in with these Bigger Mum Scraps Vintage Dowry Mix, and I'm going to add all the blues and pinks and purples from that collection. It's full of really soft pastel colors. I also do go in off camera at the end and add a teddy bear sticker and some pink flower rhinestones from Kaisercraft. So you will see those in the close-ups at the end. And that will be my layout finished. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to go check out Melissa's channel. She is amazing. I absolutely adore everything she makes. Just absolutely amazing, talented scrapbooker. I'll leave the link to her channel in the description box. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.